Have you ever noticed how some people stay calm in relationships? No matter what happens, they don't panic when someone becomes distant. They don't overreact when a disagreement appears. They don't chase reassurance every time communication slows down. And somehow, they earn more respect because of it. What separates them from everyone else? It's not that they feel less. It's not that they care less. It's that they understand themselves better. And when you understand yourself, relationships stop feeling like emotional roller coasters and start feeling like conscious choices. Today, we're going to talk about emotional maturity, not as a theory, not as a trend, but as a skill. Because strong relationships are not built on control. They are built on self-awareness, balance, and personal responsibility. The first major shift is understanding that adult relationships are built on mutual effort. Connection requires participation from both sides. Affection grows when both people invest time. Trust grows when both people act consistently. Security grows when both people communicate honestly. When effort becomes one-sided for a long time, imbalance forms. And imbalance doesn't create love. It creates resentment. Sometimes people believe that giving more will secure the relationship, that if they sacrifice enough, prove enough, tolerate enough, the bond will become permanent. But healthy connection is not maintained by overgiving, it's maintained by reciprocity. When both individuals feel valued, heard, and respected, emotional safety forms naturally, and emotional safety is the foundation of long-term connection. The second shift is valuing your time and energy. Your attention is powerful. It shapes your daily experience. If all your focus revolves around one person, checking your phone constantly, analyzing every message, adjusting your mood based on their tone, you slowly lose your center. And when you lose your center, anxiety increases. Healthy attraction often grows when two people maintain full, meaningful lives outside the relationship. Purpose creates stability. When you're working toward personal goals, improving your health, strengthening your skills, and nurturing friendships, you become grounded. Grounded people don't need constant reassurance. They bring calm energy into the relationship instead of pressure. Pressure often comes from fear of losing someone, fear of not being enough, fear of being replaced. But when your identity is larger than the relationship, fear loses its grip. You don't cling, you choose. And choosing feels very different from needing. Another essential shift is emotional regulation. Every relationship will face moments of misunderstanding, different expectations, different communication styles, different emotional rhythms. That's normal. What determines the outcome is not the disagreement itself, but the response. Reacting impulsively can turn small tension into major conflict. Responding calmly creates room for understanding. Emotional regulation is not suppressing feelings. It's recognizing them without letting them control your behavior. It's pausing before speaking. It's asking questions instead of making accusations. It's expressing concerns without attacking character. This level of steadiness builds trust over time. When someone knows you won't explode during conflict, they feel safer opening up. Safety strengthens connection more than intensity ever will. Now let's talk about independence within relationships. There's a difference between emotional closeness and emotional dependency. Closeness is healthy. Dependency creates pressure. When one person becomes the sole source of happiness, identity, and validation, the relationship becomes heavy. No one wants to feel responsible for another person's entire emotional stability. True partnership happens when two emotionally whole individuals choose to walk together, not when two incomplete people try to fix each other. Building independence doesn't mean building distance. It means strengthening your foundation. When you feel confident in your abilities, your direction, your worth, you enter relationships from strength, not insecurity, and strength creates balance. Another powerful principle is boundaries. Boundaries are not ultimatums. They are not threats. They are not punishments. They are standards. They communicate what you value and what you expect in return. Healthy boundaries sound calm and clear. I value honesty. I need respectful communication. I'm not comfortable with repeated disrespect. Notice the difference between stating a boundary and attacking someone. Boundaries are about your behavior, not controlling someone else's. And the most important part of boundaries is consistency. If you say something matters to you, but repeatedly tolerate behavior that violates it, confusion forms. Consistency builds credibility. When your words and actions align, people understand you clearly. Clarity reduces drama. Another mindset that changes everything is shifting from outcome obsession to growth focus. Many people enter relationships focused on keeping them at all costs. But a healthier question is, am I growing in this relationship? Are both of us becoming better versions of ourselves? Healthy love supports growth. It encourages accountability. It allows space for individual development. When growth stops and effort disappears on one side, awareness becomes important. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, and that's not failure. Sometimes people grow in different directions. Sometimes timing changes. Sometimes values shift. Maturity means recognizing when something is no longer aligned, without bitterness. Letting go peacefully can be more powerful than holding on forcefully. Clinging often creates more pain than separation. Acceptance creates clarity. Clarity creates peace. Let's also talk about communication. Strong relationships are built on direct conversation, not assumptions. Instead of mind reading, ask questions. Instead of silent resentment, express feelings constructively. Instead of sarcasm, choose honesty. Clear communication reduces unnecessary conflict. It prevents misunderstandings from turning into long-term distance. Emotional maturity means addressing small issues before they become large ones. Avoiding conversation rarely protects relationships. It usually weakens them slowly. Another key element is internal validation. When you constantly seek approval, reassurance, or confirmation from someone else, insecurity grows. External validation feels good temporarily, but long-term confidence comes from internal validation. When you are proud of your discipline, your progress, your character, you don't rely entirely on someone else's praise, and that confidence changes your presence. You become calmer, less reactive, less fearful, more steady. Steady people create stable relationships, and stability builds trust over time. Here's something important to remember. Intensity is not the same as compatibility. Strong emotions at the beginning don't guarantee long-term success. Compatibility grows from shared values, communication styles, life direction, and emotional maturity. When you prioritize compatibility over excitement alone, you make better long-term decisions. Emotional maturity also means taking responsibility. If you make mistakes, acknowledge them. If you overreact, reflect and improve. Blame rarely solves problems. Accountability strengthens respect. When both people practice accountability, trust deepens naturally. Now imagine combining all these shifts. You value your time and energy. You regulate your emotions. You communicate clearly. You maintain independence. You enforce boundaries calmly. You focus on growth. What happens? You become centered. And centered individuals don't get easily shaken by temporary distance or conflict. They understand that relationships are partnerships, not possessions. They understand that connection should feel supportive, not suffocating. They understand that self-respect and love can exist together. When you operate from wholeness instead of fear, relationships become lighter, more balanced, more peaceful. You don't try to control outcomes. You control your mindset. You don't chase reassurance constantly. You build confidence internally. You don't fear loss desperately. You build a life where your identity remains strong, with or without a relationship. And ironically, that strength often improves the quality of your connections, because confidence without arrogance is attractive. Calmness without coldness is powerful. Self-respect without hostility is magnetic. Healthy relationships don't require constant anxiety. They don't require overthinking every message. They don't require sacrificing your values. They thrive where there is trust, communication, respect, and emotional balance. The goal is not dominance. The goal is stability, not control, but clarity. When you move through relationships with clarity and emotional maturity, you stop playing emotional games, even unconsciously. You choose alignment. You choose respect. You choose growth. And if something doesn't align long term, you step away peacefully, not angrily, because your peace matters. Growth starts with awareness. So ask yourself, are you reacting or responding? Are you giving from strength or from fear? Are your boundaries clear? Are you growing individually as well as together? Small improvements in these areas create massive long-term transformation. And transformation always begins internally. The strongest presence in any relationship is not the loudest voice, it's the most grounded one. When you become grounded, relationships stop feeling chaotic. They start feeling intentional, and intentional connection is where real strength lives.